Sanjay Yom de la chance, Loy. Jonathan Laya, Massajumi Shera Paroji, Majimega, Nankimo, Sosari, Jima, to Sonjavi, La Chance, Kunjo may be some way Tanji, Dunga Sunga Zawa Tuniji, Jani Shera Parochi, Lasso, Tesla Tambicho La Chance, Jonathan Laya. Ingetamba unity, Gindula Chandola, Sanja Chola Chandola, Joba Chola Chandola, Gindu Chola Chandola, Sola Chola Chandola, Sonata, the Chaja, Batamja, Shinto, and the Payana, Choda de Becha, Okay, okay. All right. So, where is it? Notification in the text. Yeah. So I'm using the textbook here. So if it's, I think there's the copy that you have is actually this.
Yes,
this
it's the same copy. Which page?
PDF form.
Which page are you on?
Sorry?
Which page are you on?
I'm just the first one, the prologue, homage to Guru Manju Gosha. Yeah, the first page.
Yes, first page.
Yeah, I'm still on the first page. So after a little bit discussions about the topic and so however we come down to continue doing go through the textbook, the Tsongkhapa's textbook of Lamrim Chenmo. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to exactly do that. The purpose of actually that organizing this teaching is also where Ken Rinpoche and like Kungala, they have discussed already. It's to actually go through a little bit of delve deep into the practice of Lamrim, overall Lamrim practice. That's why it does make sense to go through the text so that it will be like a quite extensive 11 hours. And also sometimes you have to zoom out and look at the overall practice and try to look at look at this particular sessions from another angles as well. So I've tried to put the context as to where we are going in which part of the practice that we are particularly emphasizing at this point, at this in this section, in that section. So that's how I would like to go through the text as well. So it's absolutely, you can link the overall practice and the daily practice that I would like to put more effort on can be included in the while I'm going through the text as well. So we'll just exactly do that. And anyone you have questions or you are able to read those texts before the session, then it will be great so that you will have questions, and some of those meanings are like because of some meanings lost in the translations. You might, sometimes it's make better sense in Tibetan, and explain it in while I'm comparing this also with the Tibetans here. So in the last session, we more or less we done the first, up until here, Shakjitso Dela, whose mind sees precise objects. So briefly, I'll go over this. So Namun Guru Manchu Goshaya. So Chuju, we call it Chuju. Yeah, I don't know. It's a prologue. Prologue. Yeah, I don't know if it makes sense. Of the prologue, the word prologue. But Choba Joba means, in Tibetan, Choba means, Choba Joba means before you actually write the text, compose the teachings, it is always start with the paying homage or to the gurus and the deities that you are specially connected to. So, and then there's a couple of things you must have to have before the teaching actually. So there's a lot of other things that are going in with that. So first, taking refuge, and then bodhicitta, and then what do we call this? The making the pledge, and then you must have the vision, at least some sort of like a signs of the deity's permissions to write the text as well. So that's a lot of qualities. You must be qualified from all these parts, all these angles to be able to become a really like to write the textbook on the teachings like a Lamrim. So that's why the homage, first homage, there's like the homage to from Buddha Shakyamuni to all the way to your, your guru, the guru that is physically present and that physically give teachings to you that actually represent the Buddha himself. At some point, that's how Lamrim practice, Lamrim text. Always start with Guru Yoga. And then precious human life. So that was the first stanza actually was dedicated honoring or salutation verse 4 in praise of Shakyamuni Buddha himself. So I bow my head to the chief of Shakya. Here, Gu Chatsal in Tibetan it says Gu Chatsal. It also, yes, it's about Gu Chatsal. Chatsal means to pay to show my respect by my like a forehead, or by the putting the top of my body to the lowest part of your body. So bowing my head or placing my head to your feet, that's how to show respect, to show your respect, or to show your the commitment, or to show your kind of your enthusiasm, or your the passion, or your practice, and your actually dedication, how you physically showing sign of showing that is called lujicha, physical chak, or I don't know in English which word is perfect or exact meaning, exact word for chaksel. But anyway, it's maybe like a bowing down, or all showing respect, or showing respect by bowing down. So chaksel doesn't necessarily mean bowing down. In Tibetan, chaksel means physically chaksel, mentally chaksel, and verbally chakchal. So it probably more, I think it would roughly mean like showing respect. So physically showing respect, mentally showing respect, and verbally showing respect. Physically, you bow down, or every tradition have their own way of doing it. In Tibetan, you just bow down, and just bowing down is there. Just how to say, the folding your hand, gesture. It's a lots of meanings in there, lots of reasons as to how you do it. It mustn't be like this, like the flat surface holding together, sticking together. It must be like this shape where you put your two fingers in, so it mustn't be empty. So it represents a lot of things like the sunju, the union, and also it represents in union. It's not empty. It is empty, but it is filled up with jewels, like that kind of thing. So, and also when you go to see Lama, or go see, show respect, not only just bowing. If you want to offer something, let's say if you want to offer like a nice, like a bag, a bowl, or whatever, it is not a very auspicious sign if you presented them with the bowl or the bag is empty. So you must put something in there. If like a box or whatever, just put something in there. So that's to make a positive connections, to make like a auspicious connections. They do that. So however, I think I'm going too much, so we wouldn't be able to finish ever, but it's okay. We're going to practice Dharma life, our lifetime, not just this life, many lifetime after life after life. So anyway, that's the way you show respect. Physically bowing down, verbally use a phrase, in the name of those deities. You phrase, you recite their their mantras, or maybe mantras also. It's a verbal chak. And then mentally, that's the most important. Mentally, um, actually reflecting on the guru or deity, or like a Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, their good qualities, their excellent qualities needs to be, as vividly as possibly reflect upon, so that uh, every moment of reflecting on, let's say, Buddha's good quality here. Buddha said about Rahatu Shakya, whose body was formed by 10 million perfect virtues. I don't know how much of sense it can make to you, but there's a lot of things, lot of background understanding, lot of stories are accommodated by this line itself. So let's say whose body was formed by 10 million perfect virtues means Buddha was become Buddha. Buddha isn't like a just miraculously just materialized on its own. He was just like the sentient beings like us in the beginning. Then he strive to reach to the nirvana, and eventually to the great nirvana. Nirvana and great nirvana, there's slightly different. So he put effort, he just put effort to achieve those paths, and then eventually become Buddha. So to achieve those paths, you practice the correct path. That paths, especially going through using the Mahayana path, that is the 10 perfection, or six paramitas. Those six parameters, because of six parameters are like Jimbatsutim, practice of generosity, like not only just giving some food here and there, but to the point that where he is there is no the slightest the slightest instant of holding on to your possession, including the very body that you possess, the life that you possess. You are willing to give up your life for the all sentient beings. Now, if it is for the all sentient being, okay, so I'm going too much. Let's quickly go and then maybe take some questions. Okay, that's how you will just you reflect on the Jimba Tsuna for 6 parameters like Jimba, generosity, and ethics, and the practice of ethics Buddhas, many lifetimes, millions of lifetimes, ethics, practice of ethics, moral disciplines, and then generosity, moral discipline, Jimbatsu Soba, and the passions, the practice of patience, and Jimbatsu Zoba Tsundu, and then joyous effort, Tsundu, Jimbatsu Zoba, and the wisdom and concentration or the samadha. So all this practice, perfection, that means their practice was not just for the, temporarily, but continuously, constantly, consistently practice them to its perfection, to reaching the pinnacle, like the stages of the each practice of this 6 perfections, and there's another 10 perfections as well. So with the practice of those, then you become Buddha. And speech, then out of this practice, once you reach it, the enlightenment, then your speech is such that you can fulfill all sentient beings, the ultimate desire or ultimate goals or ultimate, the purpose of your the path that leads to the ultimate, the ultimate your ultimate place where where there's no the suffering at all, that is actually nirvana and great enlightenment. So not only just those the paths and 5 paths and 10 grounds and things like enlightenment and nirvana, but even the small, even the like as little as our daily, or like a daily kind of stress, to handle daily stress, to all the way to solving the bigger problems of our existence itself and the samsara. The Buddha's teaching is, that fulfilling. And also, when Buddha gives teachings, he reads the minds of the sentient beings. That's why he will say the words, use the words, choose the words that is actually going to tap in like that, the understanding, that the subtle understanding that will open the doors to the practice, in a just yeah. So anyway, your speech fulfill the hopes of a limitless being in whose mind sees precisely all objects of knowledge. That's the in praise salutation verse for in praise to Buddha Shakyamuni. And then the second comes to Mephan Jambe Yang Chancel. What it is? Ajit. Okay, Mepam Jambe Yang, Buddha Maitreya and the Manjushri. I bowed down to Ajita or Maitreya, Maitreya Buddha. Sometime Maitreya will be included in the Bodhisattvas. There's a Chanjusambadye Ed Bodhisattva, Ed group of Ed family of Bodhisattva, Ed group of Bodhisattva. He is included in that. That were actually mainly Manjushri and Maitreya and Vajrapani. Also, there's 8 of them, and Sai Nimbo. So the one that holds in the kind of jewels in hand, flame, the jewels that is flame coming out. So I can see them a lot in Chinese temple. I don't see that a lot in Tibetan temple. But anyway, so those of 8 bodhisattvas. So Maitreya was also included in that the group of bodhisattva and Buddha. Sometimes he's not Buddha. Sometimes he is included as a Buddha. That's why we call him Buddha Maitreya. So there's a lot to do with that understanding of Tantrayana, or maybe more subtle, how the Buddha can sometimes manifest into Bodhisattva, or sometimes how Bodhisattva functions like Buddha himself. So anyway, bowing down to Maitreya and Manjushri. Bow down to Maitreya, Manjushri, because first it's Buddha, and from Buddha's teaching, carry on mainly with the help of Buddha's the holder of Buddha's teaching, upholding Buddha's teaching. Those who are not human are Buddha Maitreya, the Maitreya, and Manjushri. So it is believed that they kept all the teachings intact. I mean, the way they kept the teachings is completely different to the way the ordinary beings could have, preserved or organized. Therefore, the first Maitreya mainly took the responsibility to say preserving the practice of Sutrayana. Parchintikpa, mainly Sutrayana. Manjushri within the Jachivel, remember that profound and the teachings on the profound and vast deeds. So on the profound path of the profound view, mainly carry on responsibility carried on by Manjushri or Manjushri, and on the vast deeds on the subject of vast deeds mainly took the responsibility by Maitreya. So these two, the supreme heirs of the unequal teacher, the Buddha, and Javed Zeba Kujuk, Dami Tumba Teseji, Javed Zeba Kujuk, Tamji Tribunaraba. Yeah, so supreme heir of the unequal teacher, the Buddha. So that's a lot of the reason why, as to why they say supreme heir, because the Buddha Maitreya, the Maitreya is believed to be the next the Buddha that is coming in this world after Buddha Shakyamuni. That's why he not only that, but before coming to this earth, it is believed that the Buddha, those who are heir successor to the current Buddha in this world, are usually become the kings of the heaven Tushita. So Buddha Maitreya is actually king of that Tushita. You can call it Pure Land, Tushita heaven. So that's Buddha Maitreya and Manjuk, which are supreme heirs of one equal teacher, that is Buddha, and having assumed the burden of all conquerors deeds, having assumed the burden of, so taking the responsibility, accountability of the sustaining of the Buddha, and with so much sense of their passion or their dedications, they were able to preserve all the Buddha's teachings, and they emanate in innumerable Buddha realms. They just have the emanations in innumerable Buddha realms, and that means Buddha, like a Buddha realm means like a, doesn't have to be a pure land as such, but Buddha realm, let's say the world, the earth itself could be a Buddha Shakyamuni's realm. So they comes in the form of there sometimes comes in the form of sometimes comes in the form of let's say monks or maybe geishas, and also maybe just lay person, bodhisattva, kings, princess, or any possible form. They will just come any possible forms to spread the dharma and to help to help bring up the dharma. Now the next, the third stanza is Ludu Tome, and that is the human, that actually the human being, the that were able to preserve Buddha's teaching, like that stands. So yes, there's a lot of them, lots of master teachers that preserve Buddha, but those particular two individuals that stand out, like like a differently, and that were able to preserve Buddha's teachings in a more holistic way. That these are in human that are Ludu Tome, Nagarjuna, and Asanga. I bow to the feet of Nagarjuna and Asanga, thoroughly renowned throughout the three levels. Chindapapukaji Chijimun, Sasuna Yostaba. It's Sasuna Yostaba, Ludu Tomichin, Sasuna, thoroughly renowned throughout the three levels. Sasum. I think I saw this three levels or three realms, like say three world. So I don't know. It's maybe cultural, but in general understanding. I also I saw this some of these understanding ideas are in some Christian books as well. So it's basically talking about and the world underneath, the world surface, and the world above. So three levels. So the world, if all the existence exists in underneath those sentient beings beneath us, those sentient beings, enjoy, the existence of the world, the earthly, and then there's a heavenly. So these three levels, Sasuna talk about the yogi and practitioner and master are renowned not only just with the human beings, but on Nagas or other realms, and also even among the deities or like what's called that deities and heavenly beings. He is also very renowned. These two are very renowned as well. So let me. Okay, I'm still audible, right? What is it? 32. Okay. Yeah, so about Nagarjuna, thoroughly renowned throughout the three levels. Ornament of Jambuba, who wrote exact commentaries on the intent of the mother of conqueror, so difficult to fathom. Yeah. So ornament of Jambu, Zamlingi Jin, Nishida Baba Gajawi, Chichi Gomba Dinzin Zamling Jin, the Zamlingi Jin. So it's like an ornament. It's just, like what do you call metaphorically, just metaphor, like using the ornament of Jambupa. Jambu should have Zamlin Jin. Ornament of Jambutipa. That's Zambaling. Zambaling means actually the earth. So there's a lot of things. Jambubia, Shah, Lubapolo, Zambalindo, Palancho. When we do the mandala offering, and on the east continent there is a Shalupapo, and then Shalupapolo on the south, this Jambudvipa, Slon Zambalindo, Palanchos, and there's the continents in the west and the south and west. So it's ancient belief system. His Holiness, he says he doesn't believe that necessarily, but when we do the mandala offerings, we can use them to actually represent our dedications and our commitment. So yeah. The ornament of that means ornament is something that once you have a beautiful body. Even you have a beautiful body, if you put some ornament on it, then it stands out better. So in the same way, the teachings are like a beautiful, and it's a meaningful and soothing. But someone who can put them together nicely, thoroughly, like like extraordinarily putting them together and present them, were the Nagarjuna, Ludu, the Tome and the Nagarjuna and Asanga, Ludu the Tome. So Nagarjuni, like Manjushri, mainly took care of this wisdom part, and Maitreya, the method part. And so as Nagarjuna took the responsibilities, or primarily taking the responsibilities of a wisdom, that is wisdom section, that is mainly derived, or that is mainly passing down from the Manjushri and Asanga, mainly. Eventually Buddha, yes, eventually Buddha. Asanga, with the help of Maitreya, was able to particularly emphasize on the practice and the understanding, the philosophy, the knowledge of the the method part of Ornament of Jumbo, who wrote exact commentaries on the intent of the mother of conqueror, of the mother of conquerors. So the mother of conqueror means Yahweh Yum. Yahweh Yum, mother of conquerors. Conqueror is Gyalwa. In Tibetan, it says conqueror. Yeah, it's conqueror, but it's more like a victorious one. Excuse me. Conquerors or victorious one. So for us, in mundane world, in ordinary world, you are busy conquering your enemy, country to other country. So invading other country to conquer, the king conquers. So that the conquer means you win over your enemy. In the same way, Buddhas see enemy is not sentient beings. Their enemy is the affliction, the confusion, the negative emotions. Those are like a Chubun Jiddish, the 84,000 of negative emotions are Buddha's enemy. That should be the real enemy. So that's why he become the real conqueror. If you want to conquer your mind. If you want to be like a king, and you must be king of your mind. So you are the king of your mind. That's how the conqueror, the name of this conqueror, come into use as a more or less like a metaphorical, and the mother of conqueror. So that mother of conqueror, Yahweh Yum, mother of conqueror, that actually usually represent the conqueror, represent the Buddha. The Buddha, that's where Buddha coming from. The baby coming from mother's belly. So mother's belly, that's because the mother become mother. In the same context, in the same like a principle, the Buddha actually become Buddha, and he become Buddha because of the mother, that is here referring to the wisdom, but like a Dharma itself. Let's say Dharma itself, or the practice of wisdom and what do you call method, wisdom and method. This practice of this dual practice. So this mother of conqueror means the mother of where Buddha is being produced. The Buddha has been produced by practicing the path. That path of five paths and the 10 grounds, or the 10 perfection, 6 perfection, the Lamrim self, the understanding of the Dharma is actually the mother, where Buddha actually was given birth by. So that's that's how the mother of intent, the intent of the mother of the conqueror. That means the intent, the real intent of the Dharma, real intent of the Dharma, that is the mother of becoming Buddha. That is actually that is capable of delivering the Buddha and enlightenment and nirvana, has been explicitly, like explained. Those most complicated, or like complexity, were being explained in such a way that very understandable to our human, the capacity of our human brain. So yeah, that is so difficult to fathom unless there's no commentary. So yeah, so directly reading Buddha's the text, Buddha's word or canons, Buddhist canon, Buddha's word, his the original text. It's very difficult to understand because it's like it's vast and profound, and it's very difficult to like a come putting together in a like an understandable way. So it's a profound. That's why Buddha's teaching were able to, with the help of Manjushri and Maitreya, and with the help of Manjushri and Maitreya, Nagarjuna and Asanga was able to hold the Buddha's teachings, putting together in a very systematic way that is nowadays available available for us to actually study them, due to mainly by the grace of these two masters. So that's why the prostrations are going there. Now here, Shinda Chimbo, so now here, from first Buddha and then Maitreya and the Manjushri, and then Nagarjuna and the Asanga. So here, after that, the next stanza is dedicated to the Atisha himself. So before they come to Atisha, what time is it? Okay, we still have time. So yeah, maybe we'll take some questions. So far, how was it? So that we have a little bit of interaction. So far, how was your how was your understanding, and how was my explanation? Does it help, or you still have some like challenges here? You can actually ask. Yeah. And okay. So if you have a question, I will just take some questions. Yeah, if you don't have a question, then we'll continue. Yeah, we'll continue with the next stanza. Dipamkara. So now maybe well, you know, I believe that you guys are like familiar with the Lamrim practice in general. So Lamrim practice must be include. I mean, let's say the daily practice. Daily practice should include Lamrim practice as well. So in daily practice, so you must since Kungala said most of you guys are familiar to Lamrim. I believe most of you are familiar with the Dharma in general practice. So there's there's this called yeah, the seven limbs practice. Seven limb practice that we did the prayers on in the seven limb prayers there in the like our preliminary prayers. There is seven limbs before the teaching prayers. So Chaltsewa, Chuji Shakwa Jesu, Chaltsewa posturation, Chaltsewa and the offering, Chaltsewa Chupa, and then purification, Chaltse Chuji Shakwa Jesu, and rejoicement, and then rejoicement and requested teaching, living long, all these things, all of this is called the seven limbs. So Changchewa, all the teachings, your daily practice, be it your daily practice or like a big teachings, it must start with something, and in the middle and the end, how you culminate those teachings with this. So these are all needs to be understood very well. So in the beginning, you must have look up to some Buddha or Dharma or Sangha, remembering their good qualities to inspire yourself, not only just be inspired, but to it also have the elements of the blessings that will actually allows you to practice the Dharma that particular session, or if you're writing this text or another sessions practice, in order for that sessions to be smooth, going smoothly, the blessings or the protections, seeking protections for the Buddha Dharma Sangha, like this was also part of that. So here, before writing the Lamrim text, Tsongkhapa actually started with that seeking the protections and seeking their blessings, remembering their good qualities. It's actually taking refuge, So that part, we are on that part, practice, we start daily practice with first Chaksaba. Chaksaba means showing respect, salutation, and then what do you call this? Supplication, yeah? Supplication. For supplication, like, requesting their blessings. So, in a way, remembering their good qualities, excellent qualities, seeking their blessings, that's all has much to do with your mind itself. So you are actually creating a conducive like an environment to the teaching of that bud, teaching of the bud to be like a blossom. I don't know if I'm making sense, but anyway, the teaching of that your innate understanding or your latent predispositions of the teachings, understanding Dharma, seeds of that path to be flourished. There is lots of not only just the misunderstanding, misconceptions around the path. There's a lot of other blockage or the obstacles that are keeping you from, reaching those realizations. That's why the faith, these commitment, worship, and salutations, respect, paying respect, and remembering the good qualities, having this gratitude sense of, like their, the path that the unmistaken path that shown to us to take us through to the immeasurable, unbearable sufferings of the samsara to the immeasurable bliss of the nirvana. So, remembering their good qualities, remembering their kindness, their dedications to present their paths to understandable to us. So these are like comes in the out of those 7 limbs. It comes in the prostration or first prostration or showing respect, remembering the good qualities of Buddha Dharma Sangha. So Tsongkhapa is writing the text and doing the same thing, like first start with prostration, showing respect, in the middle continue with the Bodhicitta's mind and understanding the emptiness, and in the end, dedication, to dedicate your merits for the well-being of sentient beings. So that's what actually essentially going on in your daily practice. Even it's the practice of for like 15 minutes, 10 minutes, you must start with that. In that context, practice, there's a beginning, there's a middle, and there's end. Beginning, how you do it, protecting refuge, remembering the good qualities of them, seeking blessings, and then actual meditations on the path, and then dedication, dedicated. So dedication is very important. Quite often, many teachers give the analogy of the deposit, deposition, or what do you call this, investment, or if you invest, it's only going to multiply, or it's safe. Putting it in a safe, it's safe. Otherwise, if you did some good things, okay, make good money and just put it in the table or somewhere there, it could be stolen. In the same way, the good virtues being accumulated, and if it's been after accumulated, it's been left undedicated, or then it could be easily be taken away by thieves. The thieves are like an anger. Your anger and your hatred, all these things are very powerful, that they can actually uproot the virtues that we have accumulated with so much effort. That's why dedication is very important. Once it's been dedicated, then it's been put into the safe, or deposited into, or invested into something that it multiplies. See? And rejoicement is very important. Rejoicement that itself is not like a diminduji. It's not virtues, not non-virtues. It depends on the context, the situation. So if you have remorse over the negativities, it's not remorse. Okay, rejoicement is similar. If you have rejoicement to the negative activities, it's a non-virtuous. If you have rejoice over good deeds, it multiplies. So rejoice is very important. You rejoice your own good actions or virtuous actions. If you rejoice other people's good deeds, and in fact you accumulated merits. At some point, some text says the accumulations of merit that you gain from just by rejoicing the act of others are equal to the actual act that the other person, other individuals did. So, so we have that length of the benefits that you can get if you know how to, if you know the how know-how of those things. If you know those tricks and the tips. So anyway, must I take some questions here, or must I continue? I think let's take some questions in between, so it's not very boring. I don't know. Actually, I don't know what's going on there. Yeah, it will be good if someone asks questions in between.
Okay, anyone of you want to ask any questions?
Yeah. So I'm sure you do have a lot of questions. Maybe some people, it happens a lot. When during the session you don't have a question, and you finish the session and we have a tea, in the tea room, we always have a lined up and of course ask lots of questions. always like that. So maybe I know you do have a questions like why Manjushri and he's not a human being? Why, how Buddha, what is Nirvana, what is great Nirvana, and why it starts with only Buddha, and there's thousands and millions of, masters that came before that. And then, why just two of these Nagarjuna and Asanga? All kind of questions you have. And here, like ornament of Jambudvipa, that is like the south continent, that is the earth. And there's other believed to be other continents that are like it's more or less it's like it's like an ancient way of thinking about the universe. So it's that maybe that understanding is also there. So it's there's a element of that understanding. It comes from that understanding, but regardless the analogy itself, but the actual the purpose of the real thing is to understand what it actually trying to tell us. Okay, so looks like we don't have a question. Then we'll carry on.
Geshe-la.
Yes.
Yeah, I have one question.
Sure.
Regarding the seven limb prayers, as Geshe-la mentioned just now, when it comes to the rejoicing, so are we rejoicing the virtuous deeds of the Buddhas or the Bodhisattvas, or are we actually rejoicing our own?
Now that's rejoicement can be done for anything, Buddhas, others, like your own, because the mind needs some of those good qualities, be it yours or others, to rejoice, wishing it to be like a multiply, or it's wishing you would do it better, more of these things, like like you are so happy and you wish others, you wish something good thing happens, and you wish it to be more and more multiplies, things like that. So it's that mind has a that mind like that particular the energy of mind that is so powerful that will actually increase the merit itself in yours and in other the rejoicement in others as well. So rejoicement doesn't necessarily have to direct to others. It's mainly yours at some point. Many a times it mainly, many a times it just refer to your own rejoicement, your own merits, because your own merit rejoice in what you have done. You are so so excited, or you are so happy about what you did, and you want to do it again. That type of encouragement you get, and also the karmically it creates a lot of good virtues and good energies there. So yeah, rejoicement can be both, and it is not just confined to one. So self rejoicement is very important.
Following up my question,
Yes.
what if we rejoice at the we rejoice wrongly, we rejoice maybe our own or someone's non-virtue, what would be the effect? Because to me, I think if we rejoice positive or good virtues, our merits will increase. What
Yes.
if we rejoice wrongly, thinking that, oh, actually, we do not know that actually is a non-virtue, but we think it's a virtue, and then we rejoice. So what will be the impact?
The rejoice in others' wrongdoing and thinking that it is right or it is virtuous And because in that, a little bit of exceptional versus knowing that wrongdoing is wrongdoing and still rejoicing it. So there's a difference, right? So if you are the other things, let's say, okay, he's going fishing and she's so happy. Yo, that's good. You must do it again and again because it gives you so much, like a mental solace or whatever, the stress, calm down your mind. So this rejoicement is, you are not aware of those sentient beings suffering, and you don't regard them as the beings that are capable of experiencing the pain and the pain and pleasure. So you just assume these are there, they are to be fetched and cooked. So if you feel that way, and then at the same time you rejoice in it, it's partly you are blinded by the ignorance, and you genuinely think it is one of those good things, good practice. That's why you rejoice in from that place. Then it's not entirely unvirtuous. There is an element, like let's say 80%, 90% is a virtuous act, and there's a bit of like a bit of like uh, the quality of that has been a little bit reduced because the act itself is not like a really. Let's say if you put shoes on Buddha's head, it's bad, of course. It shoe smells like that, but somehow in some stories, like there were the young boy who actually to save Buddha's statue from getting like wet, he actually used like shoes to cover it. So when Buddha was asked about this, about the virtues and non-virtues that he just committed there, so it's purely virtuous act. It's become a purely virtuous act. The intention is the intention is the actually the one that determines the qualities of your virtues and whether or not it's become virtuous or non-virtuous, violence or non-violence. It's not by action, it's by intention.
Thank you.
So yeah, we still have time for another question. 3 questions allowed at least. Yeah. Let me see. Okay, we still have time.
We still have half an hour.
Half an hour, right? Okay. Where are we? No, okay, let's go. Maybe while you don't have a question, maybe just can finish more. So, I bow to Dipamkara, which one, 2, 3, 4. The fourth stanza, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. The fourth. I bow down to Dipamkara. So now, like I said before, you must include this session as your practice. So it is the section, it is the part where we like out of 7 limbs we are practicing, we are maybe how to say, like maybe we enlarge or the illustrate more on the highlight more on the practice of remembering the Buddha, Dhammas, good quality, great teachers, good qualities. That just remembering the good qualities of them is actually settles your mind in consciously or maybe unconsciously. It actually seeds the sowing the seeds of those like faith and the how to say commitment and your dedications to practice towards practice the dharma and the paths. Those things are a lot of things are at play. So you must remember the benefits of going through in word by word, or one by one, line by line. It's very like a uh, like a sitting meditations. This is actual meditation, because this has become analytical meditation. So we are thinking, our mind is placing on some of the great masters, the activities, purely virtues, the great things that they have done. So we're placing our thoughts on it, and the session become a very meaningful, very constructive meditation. So uh, don't just looking at as a just general explanation. Oh, we have to go through this text, we have to finish it. No, it's not. Don't just think of like that. Itself, just one line itself is become a great opportunity to reflect on the master's practice at will, unconsciously encourages you to practice them, and it actually pushing you a step closer to the realization of attainment of your realization. So knowing all this benefit, consciously you are actually focusing on this listening, or reflecting on the meaning of these stanzas. It's very important. So Shindaji Vanyil, okay, I'm reading in Tibetan. About to Dipamkara Atisha. Dipamkara Atisha is it's the same. It's Dipamkara. Yeah, Dipamkara means like Dipamkara means mamenze. Dipam is like a light or candle light. The one who holds candlelight, one who holds the light. So Dibamkara or Atisha, a bearer of the treasure of instruction. So he is the keeper of the treasure of that instruction of Dharma. Like Shindachibo. But treasure, what kind of treasure he possessed? He is the treasure that comprises the key points, unmistaken and complete, of the paths of the profound view and the vast deeds. You see, the profound view, two vehicles that are eventually merged together to Atisha. So you see, from the wisdom, from the method, from the profound views, and from the vast deeds, these two vehicles, this two stream of practice were now being like a blended, now been blended into one. That is Master Atisha, who very fortunately, who came to Tibet and spent rest of his life, I think after, I don't know, 50, 60, so rest of his life in Tibet. So, that respect of teacher, about Dibamgara treasury, which treasury? Treasury of these two, and he is the holder of the treasury, bearer of the treasury, the comprises the key point, unmistaken, complete of the parts of the profound view and vast deeds, and transmitted well from those two great trailblazer. Transmitted well, not only just the keeping the teaching in general, not only just does exist in the text, but the transmission, not only just knowing, having the knowledge, the mere knowledge, but the transmission, the practice, genuinely practice them and reaching those the paths, actualizing those realizations and transmissions transmitted from the real masters, from, be it from Manjushris, like a Maitreya or other masters. So you just have those actually kept it so alive. The blessings of them, the lineages of them are kept unbroken, kept unbroken and kept untainted by misconceptions and wrong paths, and the like transmission, that those that are not being like moist by the blazings, continuations of blazing transmissions of the path. Otherwise, the middle understanding of the path will bit of dry, so that it's been moist by and the blazing, the lineages of the blazings on the, like a practice lineage or continuations of that blessings or continuations of the practice transformations were being carried out, and it has been eventually, like merged into one, that is Master Atisha, and transmitted from where? From Buddha to, in terms of a human, passing one to another, from Buddha to these two great master Nagarjuna and Asanga, who are like the two great trailblazers, Shingda Chenmo, trailblazer. Yeah, trailblazer. It's because of these Buddha's teaching were once taught, but then it's been just like a little bit degenerated, and then it's been again create new paths to uh, revive these Buddha's teachings and make it live again. So it's like emanated. Yeah, emanated again. So yeah, a trailblazer. I bow. That's for dedicated. The stanza dedicated for the Pankara by the Marmenze or Atisha himself. Yeah, here's your Buddha, and then Manjushri and Maitreya, Manjushri, and then you see some of these the tankas where you can see Buddhas, and then under the days there is a like a Manjushri and Maitreya's on in the sky, and then underneath there is a tree of that the refuge, they call it tree of refuge. So in there they put these like deities here and there. Manjushri and yeah, Manjushri and Nagarjuna, this group comes on the right, and Asanga and Maitreya comes on the left, and yeah, so maybe I think like that. So now I Ranjasura this is in general. The next stanza is generally but showing respect, paying respect, salute to your teacher, your guru, in guru, our existing gurus in general, and those who passed away and continue that lineage, passing down that lineage and the practice and the knowledge and wisdom passing down to, that you are Sawa the Jubil Lama. You are related to them, you are connected to them directly or indirectly. Yeah. So these are this one is dedicated to your gurus in general. I bow with respect to the teachers who, with the deeds of in means moved by loving concern, illuminates for the fortunate the gateway leading to fortunate the gateway, illuminate for the fortunate the gateway leading to liberation. The eye for viewing all the limitless scriptures, the eye for viewing all the limitless scriptures. Yeah, so these are, I think it's English. I'm not an English teacher, so you guys are way better than my English. So I assume you would of course understand. The point here is to reflect on the meaning. Let's slowly spend time on them. In this session, we take time to think about their like their great deeds. The practice mustn't be like always like a something like a wisdom or miracle. It's not. It's you have to work on every part of your mind, every aspect of your mind. So here, when you think of those great masters' job and how did they do all these things, practice and the effort they put and the blessings through that way, and you are creating such a conducive place in your mind, in your head, to actually to the to to for the practice to be arise, to be born in your mental continuum. That's what these are very important. Otherwise, like I said earlier, that obstacles doesn't necessarily confine to misconceptions. The obstacles are also could be in the form of let's say, obstacles could be in the form of negative energy, bad energy. And nowadays, the most of the obstacles is not because of not knowing. It's because you know it, but still you are busy with your life, many other things, obstacles. It's at some point, yes, life is busy, but at some point, some Buddhists say they don't have a time. So when I say, how about early in the morning? One of these Buddhists said, well, if I woke up early in the morning, who is going to feed all my pets? There's 3 cats, there's 4 dogs, who's going to feed them? See, so the cat and dogs, you just, you took them and just to have fun with them or whatever So I'm not saying this is bad. But if you are not feeding, someone else is going to feed, someone else is going to have a time to feed sentient beings. And it's a great practice for them. For you, there's more to do it, not just feeding the sentient beings. You have to go to nirvana so that you can help sentient beings forever without you being the victim of those negativities. So for that, you need to train. For that, you need time. It's not that you run away from helping sentient beings. We are not like at some point very qualified because we are very vulnerable. We could be easily dragged away by the mundane enticement. Yeah. So enchanted by mundane, possessions and mundane entertainment, mundane enjoyment. So let me see. Okay. Now I'm losing. I don't know what I have right there. It's going. Okay. Now. Okay. That's okay. Let's. Ranjaswara Gulata make the eyes for viewing all the limitless creature. Yeah, it's metaphorically the analogy of eyes that you can see. Once you open your eyes, you see things. If you don't have eyes, you can't see. You're blind. That's why we usually don't have eyes to see the Dharma, to see the reality. We are blind. We are blind. We like actually walking around with blindfolded. So there is one, the master, who actually took off our blindfold and help us to see the things in front of us so that we can choose which path and choose the life carefully. So that is our master. It's analogy. So I'm sure you will understand those things. Savage as the there is so maybe okay. There is the qualities of there is the qualities of the teachers are also taught in Lamrim. Maybe it will come in the Lamrim, but mainly Choa Choapama, the one who actually have a great patience and compassion. These 2 things are very important. And another important is those one who is learned and very clear speaking. You have to choose them. But if you don't have the other qualities, as long as that compassion is there, as long as that transmission of this compassion and their skillful, passion is there. That's very important. Other things like a very skillful way of giving the teachings, like you have to actually the other qualities like you have to master the language that you are giving teachings in. So most of us is become a Tibetan. It's not English. So we're struggling with English. So we spend most of our life with Tibetans books on, teachings and scriptures, all these things. And when we come out, it's too late to learn English. So very difficult to master English once you know your age has come to a little bit advanced. So that's how you won't see a lot of monastics, monks from, especially from the major monastery like a Serra de Bongande who speaks English, yeah. So anyway, that's the next stanza is Tindu Nanjo Cholo Tubani Mountain Yali Nalamiki Pechi Suratama Chomiri Lundo Ribi to me pe. The next stanza is from there, salutation is done. From there, it's just like it's like a general instruction or the advice that or encouragement the master would actually give you in affirmative way or in a negative way, like negatively, like in let's say in indirectly, you are at some point looks like condemning some of those activities you are trying to deter you from those activities, and then on the flip side, it's actually encourage you to do the opposite. So nowadays, in this day and age, it means those making effort at yoga have studied few. They hear yoga doesn't necessarily mean like asana or breathing. Nanjo, this means practice. You can understand yoga here is a practice. Okay, the making effort at yoga have studied few. The practice, those who want the actual practice, have studied few, of the text and classing and text. So that's very relevant to this modern day and age. So there's many of the even in the West, those those people who believe to be doing PhD in those, some of these Buddhist studies are also partially, not thoroughly, doesn't have a thorough understanding of, the profound Buddhist the text and different understanding, different layers of understandings, different levels of understandings of the Buddha Dharma. That's why there's lots of misconceptions arises because due to this, a lack of comprehensive learning and understanding of the text and experiential practice. While those who have studied much are not skilled in the key points of practice. See, lots of who study, but when it comes to the actual practice, while the study itself is a practice, Tsongkhapa will stress very important that study itself is a practice, but carry on this in practice on deeper levels. Sometimes people, sometimes practitioners, all the monks or the lay people who try to pursue practice, or sometimes contained with some sort of general practice, and then doesn't go deeper and then claim to have some sort of realizations. These are wrong. So it's encouraging you to not engage in that type of ego. They tend to view the scriptures through the eyes of partisanship. Partisanship. It's because of your partisanship, because of your bias confirmation. I think it's, psychology term, bias confirmation. Sometimes when it comes to some of the subtle understanding, you just understand in a way that you want to understand, and then forget, and then left out the actual understanding, the actual intent of Buddha. In the philosophical debate and philosophical understanding, these subtle things are very important. Small changes, small things, the tiny, it's a tiny, it's small things, but it's make a huge differences. So those, the subtle things, I would say, the subtle things are very important. So there's a lot of debates and discussions, and try to try to unpack the Buddha's real intent. So for it to be understood correctly, partisan mind, the mind that is biased towards your understanding or your faith or your belief, your system, all those things become a very like a those things hinders. Those things are like actually like prevent you from revealing the right understanding or the truth, the real intent of Buddha's teaching. That's why the tend to view lots of people, lots of us nowadays tend to view some of those Buddha's teaching with the eyes of partisanship. So that means on the flip side, we must be very like a unbiased through impartial, what to say, impartial. Not partial mind, completely free from the bias attitude or bias understanding. So thoroughly checking your mind intention as to how your thoughts are coming to the fore, and going depth into that, the underlying minds that is being influenced. Check yourself clearly, thoroughly, whether they are being influenced by your cultural understanding or your, like the environment or people you associate with or the views that you associate with, understanding the general understanding that you associate with. So a lot of them, it's very relevant actually to our life, because let's say certain things that are like let's say the cultural shock, certain things that are like a openly practiced are somehow very like a disrespectful in other cultures. So those are like a from those and from their culture, when they say such things, it doesn't mean what they say, and it means something else. And whereas on the other side, there's the culture who actually that these things mean something else. So this kind of the fabrications of the mind, the mind matter kind of our views, wrong views, or the views in general that are understandings that are so biased to the point where when it comes to make the right decisions, those are always just fogs up your mind to take the right decisions. So unable to use reason to discriminate the meaning of the scripture. So understanding the right meaning of scripture. Maybe some individuals it's not very important. Some says, oh, just going through this philosophical understanding, these are just dry knowledge. We are just practice, pit instruction. All these things are good. These are too good. But you are practicing some pit instruction doesn't mean that you have to deny the existence of a great other knowledge, wisdom, understanding that would enlighten our mind in that particular way, in that beautiful way. These are you want to go to the path to the enlightened you from this ignorance. So each and every knowledge, wisdoms are like very important. It's vitally important for you to go to enlightenment. But just to go to nirvana, you don't need a whole lot of studies, those things. But eventually, Bodhisattva's practice is such that you have to study everything, Buddha Dharma, thoroughly, enlighten yourself, train your mind in the most extensive way. So that's how you to understand the Dharma in every possible corner, in every possible aspect, using all kind of logics, reasoning, and stories and philosophical debates, and all these things will deepen your understanding. That's why if you don't have that capacity to see the things unbiasedly, then 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 it will be like unable to reason, discriminate the meaning of the scripture. We wouldn't understand. We wouldn't unveil. We wouldn't be able to reveal the beautiness of that the text, the scriptures, that intent of the Buddha's real, teaching. So, okay, what time is it? Okay, it's almost time because my battery is not doing well here. So, okay, yeah. If you have a question, I'll take some question. Then we'll do the dedication part. If just in case my battery is not okay, let me maybe they will have maybe you will see a little bit change because I'm taking this off, this tiny thing off from my phone. It's for my phone is better. I mean, like a phone is better, and the computer is not. I don't know. I've been told that there's some of them are struggling with the sound. They're not much audible as as clear as and to understand what I'm trying to say. So I took off this thing, so I charged. So maybe I'll take some question, then we'll do the dedication, and we're done this session. And I'll let you go, have fun with the world. So yeah, am I still audible enough to understand? Because yeah, I took out this one, so it's a
No,
batteries.
Geshe-la, we can hear you. At least I can hear you clearly.
Yes. Okay, questions, please. Yes.
Venerable Geshe-la, if there are no one asking the question, I will ask because
Sure. Please.
yes,
Because your questions also is the same question I believe that others have. Also, it answers their questions as well. Yes, please.
yes. In paragraph number 4,
Mm-hmm.
our homage to Lama Atisha, there's a line that mentioned about unmistaken and complete. Does it mean unmistaken view and complete path? If it is, can Geshe-la please explain the meaning of these two?
This part. Lady in front of you developing unmistaken and complete. Price is the key points.
Yes. Does it mean unmistaken view and complete path? Does it mean that?
No, it's not necessarily that. Unmistaken here, unmistaken and complete means in general. It's not referring to the like a view and the wisdom thing. It's just in general. If the teachings are mistaken, let's say explanation is like explained in the wrong way, or even if it's like try to explain it with your logic understanding, still there's another logic and reason that will falsify your understanding. That's why thoroughly checked, unmistaken, if it's mistaken, then it will take you to the, if you put the wrong address, it will take you to the wrong place. So unmistaken is very important. Now, even if you, let's say, even if you might have a right address, but in between is lost, it's not complete, then again you end up stuck in somewhere. So that's why if it's not complete, then it's not going to produce the right the fruit that we are looking for. Yeah.
Thank you, Geshe-la.
So any other question?
Last call for questions.
Yeah, last question, and then we'll do the Singular, will you do the dedication in English?
Yes,
And I'll do
English
it
now.
briefly
Yes.
in Tibetan, and then we're done here. So yeah, one last question. If anyone have a questions, I'll take some
Okay,
questions here.
last call for questions. If not, we'll be proceeding with the dedication. Okay, then I take it that no one wants to do any question, to raise any questions. We'll proceed to the dedication. Okay, the prayers after teaching, mandala offering. This ground is anointed with perfume, strewn with flowers, Mount Meru, the four continents, sun and moon. Visualizing it as a Buddha field, offer it so that all beings may enjoy this pure rhyme. Idam Guru Ratna Mandala Kamniya Tayami. In the snowy mountain paradise, you are the source of good and happiness. Powerful tempting Jesu Chinrizi, may you stay until samsara ends. Praying for our teachers, perfect health, praying for our teachers, ageless life, praying their works will go and spread. Bless me never to depart from them. Due to this merit, may I soon attain the state of the enlightened state of Guru Buddha, so that I may be able to bring all beings to this very enlightened state. May the precious Buddhi mind not yet born arise and grow. May that born have no decline be increased forevermore. Just as the blessed Buddhas of the past are dedicated, just as the blessed Buddhas presently is existing is dedicating, just as the blessed Buddhas of the future will dedicate. Also humbly learn, follow, and dedicate likewise. In regions where the supreme precious Dharma has not spread, or where has spread but then declined, may illuminate line that treasure of happiness and benefit will mind deeply moved by great compassion. May anyone who merely sees here, remember, touches or talks to me be free in that very instant from all suffering and abide in happiness forever. For as long as space endure and for as long as living beings remain, until then may I too abide to dispel the misery of the world. May I be a protector for those without one, a guide for all travelers on the way. May I be a bridge, a boat, and a ship for all those who wish to cross the waters. O venerable compassionate Guru, we see your blessings that all coming gaps, obstacles, and suffering of mothers and ancient beings without exception may ripen upon us right now. May we give our happiness and virtues to others and thereby invest all beings in bliss. Okay, Geshe-la, over to you now.
Thank you. Jawaganda Yandala Mandan Jimmy Chuchu Pala Lonjo Satalam Jinde Rajone, Doji Changa Kobanyo, Sho Chanjo Sanjo Rumbuchi Majiba, the Jiju Jiwa Yamba Membayan Corner Kondo Pewa, Sho Pama Sinji Danje Data Thing in Jotanje Tado Tonga, the Chanjo Samba Kana Sujo, the Dakujo, Mulan Juju, Jitian Be Jagan Tamji, the Menachune Sezetum was Montru Makikuba, Kuji, Srini Mitichi, Timber Sho. Jambaba Vechitra Chambada Kundozo Bati Antijita, Da Kunji Jesu Dalo Jigawa, the Tatamji Rapto, or Kanaravi Kovision was a pena de Mali, Jerry's own teaching. Chabes in the Bado Tenjo G. Okay.
Thank you, Venerable Geshe-la.
Okay, thank you. Bye
Thank
bye.
you,
Thank
King
you.
of.
See you guys. See you next week. Oh, there's a question, it says someone is late. Yes, let me check. Also, this guy is saying that he's late in joining today's section. Where I access the material. Hello.
But is there any material?
I should late joining. Where may access the recording? The recording.
Recording, you say ask him to leave his email. Does he have a WhatsApp email? You give him an email. We send him an email. Ask him to send message to you his email. We will forward to him. So the thing over, is it?
Yes.
哎，这样你没有去录啊
Recording.
Is it downloading? Is it downloading?
还没有。
Wait, the recording cannot disappear, no. Where's the recording first?
Okay.
No, you must leave first. You must answer first though.
Okay.
Okay. We will email to him.
Okay. We will email to you. Email to you.
Oh, that's brilliant. Thank you so much for your time and help. I'll try and get up a bit more earlier next week.
We can give him our email.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. This one is email, right?
Yes.
Okay, can you I take this picture because I have to download. We have to leave by phone. So give me a sec. I will snap a picture of his email. Okay, say goodbye lah. Huh? Goodbye. Okay, off. Okay, wait, I do. I teach you. Okay. Welcome. Okay, so on.